What's up YouTube? Welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm gonna talk about the Dominar 400. So I've been enjoying with this motorcycle for the past 2-3 days, and today is the last day of this motorcycle with me. So I thought that I'll make my complete review, my detailed review about this motorcycle today, and in the evening I'll go once again and make the touring review, and I'll give back the motorcycle to Royal Brothers who sponsored this motorcycle to me. So yeah, without wasting much time, let's get into the topic which I came for. So for the past 3 days I was like completely enjoying this motorcycle. I just took it to some highways. Yeah, of course I'm not in Bangalore now. Rode some decent amount of time in city traffic and did some amount of off-roading also. So I have some updates for you when it compared to the older version of the Dominar. Basically this Dominar is a little different. The feel is different, the ride quality and everything is slightly different from the previous version, predominantly because of the exhaust. So the exhaust has changed the character of this motorcycle. So with the previous Dominar I feel that the bike was more saner. It feels like it is more a silent guy, but with this exhaust it feels almost like an aftermarket exhaust on the earlier version, and it feels a little more louder. It has more road presence, and it actually encourages you to rev the bike more because it gives that feel. The downshifts are like more bassy. I believe that some people will like this, some people won't, because the previous Dominar was much silent and much elegant machine, while in this one the exhaust has made it a little bit more towards a rowdy. And the second thing is the pump and the power and the torque figures. So compared to the earlier version, the low end torque has been a little more better. You could feel that increase in power when you start riding the motorcycle. You leave the clutch in the first gear itself and it starts rolling, and it is a little more nice, but it doesn't reach to that level of Duke 390. Yes, of course this is a little more heavy and it doesn't produce that much power that the Duke 390 makes. And to talk about the comfort and all, the seating comfort is actually nice if you're looking for a city bike. The seat is actually wide. So the upright riding posture of this motorcycle makes this to be a very good city motorcycle, and it's little onto a heavier side if you're actually looking to ride it in dead city traffic. But it's okay, it's manageable. Once you own this motorcycle and use it for a couple of weeks, then probably you'll be getting used to this kind of a heaviness. It's not that much a tall motorcycle. Let me just get into the motorcycle and I'll show it to you. So with my height I have almost planted foot on both sides. So, and the seat is wide, I can feel that butt is completely resting in the seat. Even though you say that it's a upright kind of riding posture, this will be my upright kind of riding posture. If I'm riding a Himalayan, it will be like this. So it is slightly sporty. The foot peg is not sporty, you have it right there. And the riding posture is actually nice. If you try to ride this in this posture for long, you won't get any backache and all, because it is mostly upright, but not truly. Let's look into the instrument cluster. So it has a lot of information from the previous version. So this is your tachometer, your speedometer, your gear position indicator is here, and your fuel meter is here, and here you have the time, the odometer. Try to switch the button here, things change over there. Okay, it says skill switch on, side stand down. Okay, I'll take it off. Dynamic fuel consumption. Okay, kilometers for the next service. Average fuel consumption for trip 1, average fuel consumption for trip 2. If I press this one, the trip 2 changes here, and most of the information are there. I feel that the information which has been given there and here has been slightly flipped off in the way that I want it to be, because I wanted the gear position indicator over there, and as well as the time and the odometer and the trip meters over there, than having all the fancy stuff like the fuel consumption and time towards the next service over there, because that's not the information which I need when I'm riding. I need all these information, the time, the odometer, the gear position indicator, everything there. Probably you might be seeing this in the video very clearly, but if you have a full face helmet, the chin portion of the helmet comes over here this side, and I'm not able to see anything which is there. So I have to take my eyes from the road and look at this console and see what it is there. So in that sense I feel that whatever information which is given here should go there, and whatever which comes over here should come here. So that's just my update. One main good thing is that they have changed the mirror design. So with the previous Dominar, what I feel is that when I go to high speeds like 130, 140 and all, the bike actually vibrates. In this motorcycle also the vibration is there. I strongly believe that Bajaj would have done something to reduce the vibration, and to an extent yes, it is little more refined, but the increase in power actually will kill it, that refinement. But I have to say that with the previous Dominar, your mirror was, when it starts vibrating, it just comes and falls off. So they have made a really tough mirror here, so that even with the vibrations it doesn't come on. So instead of solving the vibration, they try to solve the mirror problem. So I don't think I have to talk anything about the headlights, because this headlight is giving a much wider view, a longer view with a high beam. So no complaints over the headlight. I don't think you need a auxiliary light even if you're going for off-roads. So truly a great headlight this has, and the visibility is really nice. So let's talk about the engine. The engine is actually a little more peppier when you compare with the earliest version, just because of the exhaust. You'll try to rev it more, and it gives a nice feel with the downshift and all. Truly, I believe that this is not a much beginner friendly engine, because it's a little more powerful now. It's almost reaching to the level of Duke 390. Duke 390 is way powerful when you compare in a single cylinder segment, so this is standing next to it. So in that sense, the engine is not beginner friendly, but when you see the brake setup and things and all, it is much more beginner friendly. The seat height, the rideability, it's all beginner friendly. So when I say beginner friendly, what I meant is that if you are upgrading from a scooter like a 110cc scooter and coming on to this one, you'll feel a little bit difficulty in controlling the power of this machine, but rest everything is kind of okay. So since I talked about the brakes, the brake feel is actually good. As I told, it is much linear, it is much beginner friendly. For an experienced rider, you might feel that the brake is lacking some bite. That's true, but it has enough stopping power. It will stop in a very progressive way. It doesn't give that feel that you see in a RR310, the CBR 250 or a Duke 390, but the brakes are good. It lacks a little bit of bite, that's all. There isn't much of a heating issue from this motorcycle. I just took it to the hardest of the hardest traffic here, like almost 2.5 hours in dead traffic. Okay, I mean, I was feeling bad for the motorcycle at that time, and we came out, and I feel that there isn't much heating issue. I didn't felt anything on my leg. My legs are completely fine, no heat towards the leg. So in that sense, the heat management is really good. Only one thing is that since it is little more heavy, and if you try to ride this motorcycle from 5 to 10 km per hour, that too for a longer period, like 2.5 hours, yes, it's very difficult. You could ask that why Strell you do all these things. When you want to really commute inside city, you face those kind of things. If you want to go and pick someone and come back, it takes 1 hour and 1 hour, so totally 2.5 hours of time. And it comes with MRF tires. The tire grip is okay. The motorcycle is a little heavy, so I feel that it can have a better tire if you are really looking for corners. The upside down forks is actually giving a much more confidence in dipping the motorcycle and gives a little more control when you compare with the previous versions. And to take it off over bad roads and potholes, you don't require much of a skills, because it's not a difficult task on this one. So seriously, I was doing some amount of off-road also. It is good to do off-roads. You don't find much of an issue, except the fact that it is a little heavy and the handlebar is not as tall as other ADV motorcycles, so you can understand that. So definitely, if you are looking for a off-road motorcycle and you are looking to do off-roads on this motorcycle, even though with the little raised handlebar, it's better to have a handlebar racer. So on the highway, I was doing somewhere from 90 to 130, 140s all the time. This wind visor that you see on this motorcycle was giving some protection around 90 km, and with the potential of this motorcycle, 90 km per hour is nothing. So I was trying to push to 110, 120. There are a lot of wind blast at that speed. I can show you all those things. I know that it's a little boring to stop and talk, but we'll go for a round in the end. So yeah, from 90 onwards, you'll start getting a lot of wind blast. But what I feel is that put a bigger wind visor on my friend's Dominar with the 2018 edition. We did the same. So on that motorcycle also, I was facing this wind blast issue from 90 km. So just with a little taller wind visor, it actually increased its comfortable speed from 90 to 110. So you right away cutting a 20 km per hour speed. So in that sense, this will also be much comfortable at a 110 km without wind blast when you put a taller windscreen. I'm not endorsing any accessories makers in this video, because it's up to you. Talk to your local Dominar owners and ask their feedback about the wind visor that you can readily available, rather than going for a pretty much expensive wind visor through an online forum. So that's it with the touring capacity. And I forgot to tell one thing: even in city riding conditions, your pillion is facing considerable amount of vibrations in the foot peg and in the grab rails. So the pillion will be a little distracted or disturbed with the vibrations even in the city. So on the touring, yeah, definitely it's a altogether different ball game. Touring review will be separate. You can watch that if you want, or probably that video will come after this video. You can expect a mileage of 25 to 35 km per liter depending on your riding style, where 25 being the mileage that you get when you try to exploit this potential of this motorcycle completely. 35 is like you being a very nice guy to the motorcycle. So yeah, you can ride it in any way. So 25 to 35 is the expectation. You will get somewhere in 25 in the city and 35 in the highways. The service interval is around 5,000 to 6,000 kilometer, and it's pretty much cheap to maintain also. It will cost you around 2,500 or 3,000 if you don't have major part changes. So in that sense, affordable to maintain also. But the only one problem which I see with this motorcycle is the lack of refinement. Truly, you might feel that what Strell is talking about. The reason is because this motorcycle has already ran 6,000 kilometers, and I can seriously feel a considerable amount of vibrations from this portion on the foot peg, on the seat, on the handlebar. You have to spend some money on cutting it out, like having a gel seat or having a better seat, putting some more grips on the foot peg, and have some more grips on the handlebar to cut down the vibrations which comes to your hand. Another major thing when you consider as a city motorcycle is the clutch feel and the gearbox. So the clutch feel is moderate. So in a tightness scale from 1 to 5, I will keep 2.5. That means it is neither too hard nor too soft. It is in the middle. So you can ask which one is the tighter. So generally you have the KTM machines to a tighter side, and the Honda, the CB300R or the CBR250R as one of the lightest clutch. So in that sense, this is rightly in the middle, and the gearbox is actually fine. There are no false neutrals as far as I written, not even a single false neutral on this motorcycle. Pretty much impressed with it. It's a little tight, that's all. Let me just take you to the highway and I'll show you what all things that I've told now. So I'll just make you hear the exhaust once. To be honest, I'll tell you that what all videos that you have seen in YouTube won't be doing the justice to this motorcycle's exhaust note. Okay, it is actually loud. Seriously, it is a little more louder than what you think. It almost gives that bassy feel of the Mojo 300. It's really nice, good to hear, but if you don't like loud exhaust, then you have to reconsider, or probably find a 2018 Dominar guy and switch it, man. That's a nice idea. So I'm just putting onto the first gear, leaving the clutch. With no accelerator, the bike actually goes like this. You see, it's really torquey. It has made the launch, and now we are in 12 km per hour without any acceleration. So the throttle response is little less. I don't say it is bad, but it is little less. It's a little laggy, which is actually good for beginners. So you see that I have to look down to see which gear it is. So that thing is a little annoying. Otherwise, no problem. So I'll get into the main road and show the power delivery and stuff. You see that the engine is much forgiving. It's not throwing me out. There's too much of crosswinds. Okay, that's the reason why I cannot take it to higher speeds now. So as you see, even though the rev range shows 13k RPM, I can go to 9.5k RPM. I think the RPM opens a little bit more after 10,000 kilometers, but this motorcycle has done only 6,000. So as you see that these speeds are comfortable. So now I am in 90 km per hour, and from then on I have started feeling the wind blast. So if we go a little bit more, there's too much of wind blast. This motorcycle could do easily a 110 to 130 on this highway as a cruising speed. And at this point of time, I can feel a little vibration over the foot peg as well as my handlebar. That's what I told, that you need a boot to ride this motorcycle as well as a good gloves. Otherwise, that vibrations will creep into your hand and your lug, and it will spoil your ride basically. So that's all with review with the 2019 Dominar. So I hope you liked this video, and if you did, and if you have any doubts on this motorcycle, feel free to write a comment, and as always, show some love in the form of likes and comments. See you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.